Starts from when I joined NSPPD in August 2024. On June 22nd, 2024, I was diagnosed with subarachnoid hemorrhage. That long name simply means ruptured brain aneurysm, which is a medical emergency. There are several statistics out there on its outcome. It is stated that about 10 to 15% will die before reaching the hospital and within 24 hours. Another 40% will die even if they make it to the hospital and within 1 month. It is stated that another 3 out of those who survive will suffer disability of one form or the other. It started with symptoms of severe headache, neck stiffening, my mouth feeling guarded. It was a thunderclap of headache, which was very intense, and came suddenly when I was entertaining people at home on this fateful day in Cairo on the 22nd of June. I spent about 2 weeks in hospital in Cairo, where I received treatment, including a certain extent. But I still had crisis after I was discharged, such that I had to be evacuated to a London hospital, where I received further treatment, a reinforced stent for another 10 days to 2 weeks. I was discharged with advice to return for checkup in 3 weeks. I was grateful to God for healing. And because I hadn't been cleared to travel, I took a train with my family. My kids had come to meet me in London. They had just vacated from school. We traveled by train to Paris to begin recuperation. But here comes the story. 3 weeks down the line, August 2nd, I returned to London for the scheduled checkup. The scan revealed that the brain aneurysm had not closed. That was a rude shock. And according to the doctors, I had 2 doctors. According to the radiologist, he said the blood in the brain was still filling through what he then called a back door. Well, they kind of explained to me what the options were, and they followed it up with a written report. They gave me 2 very scary options, which were really no options at all. The first one was to retreat the aneurysm by using a certain balloon, inside it somewhere there to divert the flow. They also told me that this option, while not being certain, also had the risk of a stroke. The second option they presented me with was to do nothing, because I was due to return in 6 months anyway for a further checkup and see what happens. They were also quick to let me know that option had the risk of loss of life. Like I said, there were none options. My husband and I were initially frantic, but at some point we said, you know what, let's see God at work. The only option the way we elected for was to wait and seek the face of God, face Him squarely. At some point, we knew that this was a battlefront. At that time, I had heard of NSPPD, but I never joined. But during this period, one of them came back to me and said to me, why don't you join this platform? So I joined NSPPD fervently, wholeheartedly on Monday, August 5. At this point, I was acutely mindful that God had shown Himself strong all through the ailments that was still alive. But the fear that I was facing at that time was palpable. It was crowned with sleepless nights by virtue of the options that I had or the risks that had been presented to me. So August 6th, Pastor Jerry spoke of peripheral artery disease.
Peripheral artery disease. That is what I hear. Peripheral artery disease. If you are the one, put it on the live stream. The devil is a liar. Oh, your mouth. Let it very fast.
And the root of negativity drying up.
You see that root of negativity. You see the root. You see the root. I command. Let them dry up.
I have a lot of these things written down because, like I said, with a lot of time on my hands, I was tuned in every day. I was still praying for a distinct prophecy, a distinct mention about brain aneurysm. And then came September 5, and there was a testimony of a Ronke in the UK who testified that the brain aneurysm was reversed. That testimony and the associated debrief.
I hear the Lord reversing every brain aneurysm, brain aneurysm, brain aneurysm. If you're the one, put it on the live stream. About the power of Jesus from the